Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Syed Osama Ali. My roll number is PP1650221. My group number is 56, and the topic I have been assigned to present is motor complications or dyskinesia associated with Parkinson's disease. So let's start the presentation. Prior to starting the major topic, we should be able to know what Parkinson's disease is or what happens in the disease. Parkinson's disease is a progressive disorder that is caused by degeneration of the nerve cells in the part of the brain called substantia nigra, which controls movement. These nerve cells die or become impaired, losing the ability to produce an important chemical called dopamine. So basically, we came to know that Parkinson's disease is a kind of neurodegenerative disorder in which there is degeneration of the nerve cells or the neurons, especially in the part of the brain called substantia nigra, responsible for controlling the movement. As a result of this degeneration, there is decreased production or there's impaired production of dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical messenger that transmits signal between two regions of the brain to coordinate activity. It is basically a neurotransmitter and a naturally occurring catecholamine. Initial treatment of Parkinson's disease, as there is decrease in the levels of dopamine in the CNS, so the goal is to increase the levels of dopamine by administering levodopa. Levodopa is in a class of medications called central nervous system agents. It works by being converted to dopamine in the brain. So as shown in the picture, that as there is reduced level of the natural dopamine, we administered levodopa, which is a dopaminergic drug or a dopamine agonist, and upon reaching the site of action, it gets converted into dopamine, thereby increasing the levels of dopamine and thus preventing the onset of Parkinson's disease or is beneficial in the treatment of Parkinson's disease. But there's a major issue associated with the use of levodopa that patients taking levodopa may experience motor complications such as dyskinesia, which means that too much of levodopa can cause dyskinesia. So we should know what dyskinesia is. Dyskinesia is an involuntary movement that you cannot control. It can affect just one part of the body, just like the head or an arm, or it can affect your entire body. Dyskinesia can range from mild to severe and painful and interfere with the normal daily activities. So basically, dyskinesia is a kind of involuntary movement that you have no control over it, and it can affect your entire body or a specific part, and it can be mild or severe, and it could be painful as well. The basic symptoms of dyskinesia involves hyperkinetic movements, including chorea and dystonia. Chorea is an abnormal kind of movement. It is involuntary. And dystonia is sustained or repetitive muscle contraction resulting in twisting and abnormal contractions, which means that there is a sustained contraction or there's repetitive kind of contraction, a rhythmic kind of contraction that results in twisting. These are the basic symptoms of dyskinesia, and the picture is also shown. Now starting the major topic, levodopa-induced dyskinesia, which means that we know that what dyskinesia is. It is a kind of involuntary movement. And this kind of dyskinesia that is caused by the intake of levodopa is known as levodopa-induced dyskinesia or LID. Levodopa-induced dyskinesia is commonly seen in Parkinsonian disease patients treated with levodopa. The side effect is usually encountered after long duration of treatment, but occasionally this may be seen even after few days or months of treatment. From this point, we came to know that levodopa intake can cause dyskinesia that could occur usually after long duration of treatment, but could occur after even a few days or months of treatment. The treatment of LID requires careful history taking and clinical examination to find the type of dyskinesia, as different approaches required for different type of dyskinesias. Now starting the case study to get to know more about the disease. Case study. LM, a 55-year-old male, had a dramatic improvement in all of his Parkinsonian symptoms with the initiation of the levodopa therapy after being maintained on 25/250 regular Cinemet 4 times a day. After 6 months of treatment, he began to experience dyskinesias. These usually occurred 1 to 2 hours after the dose and were manifested by facial grimacing, lip smacking, trunk protrusion, and rocking of the trunk. These dyskinetic effects were gradually lessened by decreasing his pramipexole dose to 0.5 mg TID and gradually decreasing his dose of Cinemet to 25/250 TID. But the effect is not totally being cleared. After 3 years of levodopa therapy, more serious problems have begun to emerge in the morning. LM often experiences immobility. Nearly every day, he has periods lasting for a few minutes in which he cannot move, often associated with dyskinetic activity. He continues to take Cinemet 25/250 TID, but gains symptomatic relief only for about 3 to 4 hours after the dose is taken. Also, the response to a given dose varies and is often less in the afternoon. What are the possible explanations for these alterations in the clinical response? So now starting it off with the SOAP notes for the case. Subjective. He is a male patient, 55 years is his age. The chief complaint is dyskinesia. The onset of chief complaint is 6 months. The current medications he is taking is Cinemet 25/250 TID. Cinemet is basically a preparation that contains carbidopa and levodopa. Both are the dopamine agonist or the dopaminergic drugs. In Cinemet, 25 mg of carbidopa is present and 250 mg of levodopa is present. And the patient is currently taking Cinemet 3 times daily. Whereas he is also taking pramipexole, another drug used to treat Parkinson's disease, 0.5 mg TID. That is 3 times daily. Objective. The physical exam findings shows the following symptoms: lip smacking, tongue protrusion, which means that there the tongue basically protrudes or come towards forward, towards the lips and towards the mouth. Rocking of the trunk, which means there's a rhythmic forward and backward movement of the body. Facial grimacing, it means that the patient manifests certain expressions that suggest disgust or pain. And the last one is the immobility in the morning. Assessment. All of these symptoms are the symptoms of dyskinesia associated with the use of levodopa. Hence, the patient is suffering from levodopa-induced dyskinesias. Plan. The initial strategy is to reduce the dose of levodopa because we know that levodopa can induce dyskinesia. And taking a specific dose of levodopa, so when we'll reduce the dose of levodopa, it can help prevent these levodopa-induced dyskinesia. But since we came to know from the case study that despite the patient has already had reduction in the dose of levodopa. So despite reducing the dose of Cinemet 25/250 from QID to TID, that means the patient was initially taking 4 times daily. The dose was reduced, the frequency of dose was reduced to 3 times daily. Despite of this changing, LM gains symptomatic relief only for 3 to 4 hours after the dose, which means it's not a permanent treatment. It's just only provide relief for 3 to 4 hours. So we have the following treatment options. We could use Cinemet CR, which means controlled release preparation, or we can use adjunctive agents such as dopamine agonists, including apomorphine and certain COMT inhibitors. Okay, starting it off with use of Cinemet CR, which means controlled release preparation of Cinemet. It contains 25 mg carbidopa and 100 mg of levodopa, or another preparation contains 50 mg of carbidopa and 200 mg of levodopa in an erodible polymer matrix that retards dissolution in the gastric fluid. Basically, this controlled release preparation is preferred over immediate release preparations in patients with LID because if we'll take immediate release preparation, there would be immediate peak plasma concentration of levodopa that would be achieved, which could cause dyskinesia. So giving controlled release preparation would release the levodopa at a controlled rate, thereby not increasing the blood plasma level of levodopa. And since the bioavailability would be less, so there would be decreased chances of dyskinesias, and this less bioavailability will thus help prevent dyskinesia. The controlled release Cinemet is about 30% less bioavailable than the immediate release Cinemet. The second strategy is to use the adjunctive agents, the first of which is dopamine agonist, such as apomorphine. It is available only in injectable form. Doses of apomorphine range from 2 to 6 mg given subcutaneously. Because nausea and vomiting frequently occur with apomorphine treatment, it should be administered with an antiemetic such as trimethopenzamide. The antiemetic should be started 3 days before initiating apomorphine and continued for the first 2 months of the treatment. It shows that apomorphine is a good drug of choice. If we are not using Cinemet CR, then it is a good drug of choice as an alternative. But it would be used as an adjunctive. Yani, it would be given alongside levodopa. But one thing, the issue that occurs is that by taking apomorphine, the basic and the major adverse effect are the nausea and the vomiting. So as to control these nausea and vomiting, we'll administer antiemetic drugs such as trimethopenzamide, and which should be started at least 3 days before initiating the apomorphine treatment, and it should be continued up till 2 months of the treatment. The second is adjunctive agent is COMT inhibitors. COMT stands for catecholamine O-methyl transferase, and will inhibit this enzyme. Basically, COMT is an enzyme responsible for the degradation or the catabolism of catecholamines. Catecholamines includes adrenaline, noradrenaline, dopamine, etc. Since we came to know that dopamine is also a catecholamine and it would be inhibited or degraded or catabolized by COMT, so a good strategy would be by inhibiting this COMT. Entacapone and tolcapone are selective, reversible, and potent COMT inhibitors. They'll selectively and reversibly bind to COMT and inhibit it. And as a result of this inhibition, there would be improved and prolonged uh, response of levodopa that would result in decrease in the levodopa dosage and thus prevents dyskinesia, which means that when the COMT would be inhibited, then levodopa would be present in the body, and we would not have to take the drug again and again, which means that the frequency of administering levodopa would be reduced, as already sufficient and enough quantity of levodopa would be present in the blood. Entacapone 200 milligram tablet is available and is given with every administration of carbidopa and levodopa up to 8 tablets per day. The maximum is 8 tablets per day. Or we could give tolcapone 100 milligram tablet dosed 3 times daily. We would give it 3 times daily. So basically, this was the basic treatment of levodopa-induced dyskinesia, that we came to know that upon administering levodopa, the patient was experiencing dyskinesia. So the first strategy is to reduce the dose of levodopa. But since there was already a reduction in the dose frequency of the levodopa in the patient, LM, so we have other options. That is, we started off with giving Celebet as a controlled release preparation. Or the second strategy was giving adjunctive agents such as dopaminergic drugs or COMT inhibitors. I hope so this Parkinsonian issue, that is motor complications or dyskinesia associated with the intake of levodopa, is cleared. Thank you.